Saiyans and Saiyanettes, this episode of Dragon Ball Super is a historic event. This episode of Dragon Ball Super features the very first female Super Saiyan fusion seen in the main timeline of the Dragon Ball series. That's right, Kale and Caulifla officially become Kefla. If it wasn't ruined in the preview from last week's episode, I might have been a little more shocked. That and I was sort of expecting that Kefla was going to be in most of this episode. No, they don't really fuse until the very end. That being said, this was an action-packed episode of Dragon Ball Super, which for the most part looked really good and for a lack of better term was basically just more of the same from last week. The good news is it's all really entertaining, and even Goku has to push his limits a little bit, even going as far as to transforming into a Super Saiyan God just to go up against the power of Kefla. But even with that, I think we can all agree that the best character in this episode has got to be Kefla, the alien robot cop from another universe. Universe 3 to be exact. This character is awesome. I know he's just like a one-off joke character, and the fact that he was going up against Frieza was probably meaning that he was probably just going to get tortured to death, but man, I really hope to see more of Kefla in the future. I'm always a sucker for parodies of like Super Sentai or Power Rangers, and this guy fits the bill perfectly, all the way from his flashy costume to the belt that he wears, and the fact that he can go through various transformations which can do things such as enhancing his speed, his power, and who knows what else. Throughout the entire episode, he's desperately trying to fight against Frieza, who just keeps ignoring him, and it's really freaking funny. There's a great scene where Kefla actually transforms into his speed form, where he starts turning all sparkly red, and then he starts to jog in place really fast, and then he claims that he's 300 times faster, and that nothing can stop him, and he suddenly just disappears, and then Frieza's just like, I really don't care. I'm gonna watch the Super Saiyan free-for-all here. And that's really the bulk of this episode right here, which is still Goku battling against Kale and Caulifla, and the episode opens up and it looks really clean. Like, all the animation, the artwork, especially those close-up shots, look really freaking spectacular. And that's definitely one of the best things about this episode, is that there are portions where the production value goes up and the choreography looks really good. Yes, there are still those moments that look awkward and crappy, but honestly, it didn't bring the episode down for me at all, if only for the fact that we got to see Kale power up into her Super Berserker form, control it completely, team up with Caulifla, and do a lot of really great combination style techniques, some of which are straight up just brutal and get kind of like medieval, if you know what I mean, like less tactical style, more grabbing onto Goku while Caulifla just wails on him with a flurry of punches. It's until later in the episode when he has to go Super Saiyan Red that things get kind of serious, and honestly, I'm kind of disappointed that we went right to Red. After the last episode sort of promising us that we're going to see Super Saiyan 3 and them not really doing anything with it, I would have liked to have actually seen that in this episode, and I think it makes more sense for him to want to go Super Saiyan 3 before he starts pulling on those freaking god powers. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe Super Saiyan 3 truly is that draining on him, as opposed to just using the Super Saiyan God form. Why it works that way, I have no idea. Basically, they're also just trying to up the ante and show that despite the fact that Kale and Caulifla are not like yet Super Saiyan God-style powers, they're still able to go toe-to-toe with these guys in their godlike forms, which you could argue doesn't really make that much sense, but then again, Kale is a different story altogether. Yes, she's sort of like reminiscent in a play on Broly, that she's a legendary Super Saiyan, that she's not like your typical Super Saiyan, but they make that really clear in this episode when she powers up at the beginning, and even Jiren takes notice. There's just him just sitting there, you know, he's going through his weird little, like, freaking meditating state, and his, like, finger twitches for a second. A finger twitch from Jiren means, look out for Kale. So that alone should have let you know how powerful these two girls really are, and they really throw Goku through the ringer here, until eventually he just starts really powering up with Super Saiyan Red, getting the upper hand in the battle and nearly knocking them off the edge. That's when Caulifla comes up with their secret plan, something that we didn't know about. She actually has a pair of the Potara earrings, which were given to her by Champa. So basically, before the tournament began, they were giving these Potara earrings in secret I'm guessing that they were given to them from the Supreme Kai of that universe. He does mention thanks to him it was possible. I guess he's just wearing either a fake pair or another pair. I don't know how that stuff works. Maybe they can make more. The point is, this is the moment where Kale and Caulifla finally fuse together, and just like the rest of the series, it's sort of like a perfect fusion of what they're wearing, their personalities, and the way that they look, with a lot of the clothes that Kefla is wearing being reminiscent of Kale, and the facial features being more reminiscent of Caulifla, but still having like the hair all tied up and everything. And in this form, she is really powerful, to the point where she outspeeds Super Saiyan Goku when he's in his god form, the red form. She just like flies right past him and he doesn't even notice. He can't even keep up with her speed. Vegeta pays attention to this, Jiren pays attention to this. Everybody knows that this chick could be a lot more powerful than we could possibly realize, and the fact that she hasn't even gone Super Saiyan in this fusion form, man, that's gonna be nuts. Apparently that's gonna happen in the next episode. So with all of that and the epicness of the ultimate superhero cop from another universe, Kefla, this was a great episode. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super? Basically just a lot of fighting. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I have zero issues with that. I absolutely love how this episode was handled. And yes, it is just more of the same, more action, flying around, ki blasts, lots of punches. It was done with a lot of gusto, and it got me really excited for the next episode. Although I do have to admit, I am disappointed that we got to see very little of Kefla, but I did like that they still managed to expand on a few other things, like Frieza still being on the battlefield, still taking the time to introduce fighters, even like Kefla. I know he's like a joke character, but man, I just want to see more from him, and never judge a book by its cover. This Kefla guy could be so powerful we don't even realize it yet. He could be hiding something that could be really devastating. You never really know. I mean, look how fast he disappeared. Maybe Frieza is underestimating Kefla. Maybe I'm just being a goofball right now. What I will say is, this episode right here was a great showcase for why Kale and Caulifla have really been standout characters for this arc. I mean, they were already interesting before just by the fact that they were female Super Saiyans, but now they're doing something really special with them. They're bringing back the Potara fusion and making that seem really important, and it's really cool that they're you know, able to bring their friendship totally together at this point. As they've been battling with each other, they've actually been bonding. Kale has been able to bring out her really destructive abilities, as well as simply just coming out of their her shell, and them coming together actually does make sense. Will they eventually come apart at some point? How is that actually going to happen after the Tournament of Power? We're just gonna have to wait to see. What I will say is, like I said, I could nitpick on the episode, like for the fact that this is basically just more of what we saw last week, except with Goku going Super Saiyan Red and a fusion at the very end. But still, it looked really good, and there were a lot of moments that I frankly thought were just handled really well in terms of the choreography and how destructive they looked. And there were some artwork shots in this episode which looked really great. Like, super freaking solid. There's this shot of, like, Super Saiyan Goku Red, like, after he just destroys Kale and Caulifla, and he's just standing there with his hand out, and man, it's so detailed and awesome. You can see the damage all over his face, and he just looks so commanding right there. I love Super Saiyan Blue. I think it looks really awesome and majestic. But I still prefer the look of Super Saiyan Red. He just looks so much more fierce when he fights in that form, and I really freaking love it. And I loved this episode. It was solid, it was action-packed, it's everything you want from a Dragon Ball episode, and lots of great teasing. It looks like this whole battle with Kale and Caulifla is going to be turning into a 3-parter for the Tournament of Power, so let's get excited for that. I loved this episode, 5 out of 5. If I dropped the score any, it would just be because I was being nitpicky, but I got a lot of enjoyment out of this episode. Me and the guys were watching it, and we were just cheering the entire time. So, check it freaking out. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it, and you can tell me in the comments section below, what did you think of the brand new female Super Saiyan Fusion Kefla? Do you like her? Do you not like her? What sort of abilities do you want to see from her? What do you hope to see in her battle against Goku when he goes Super Saiyan Blue in the next episode? Is he truly going to be defeated as that title is suggesting? And what do you want to see from the rest of the Tournament of Power? Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, stay damn.